This is how voters in central Queensland's Isaac learned they had a new council.
So congratulations.
Cairns too officially has a new council, but you'd be forgiven for not knowing. Today, the Electoral Commission's site still not updated a day after votes were declared, incorrectly showing close calls for now formally elected councillors.
You want whatever information you're posting on websites, the whole point of view is to get is to make sure that people know what's going on.
Julia Loy knows how things should run, yet the former Douglas Shire CEO heard she was re-elected from Win News.
Oh look, I have no problems with it. The Electoral Commission have been under a lot of pressure, especially as they've had to do 2 elections.
The local government minister, less forgiving.
They put everything on the line, and you're dealing with people's lives, and it's the utmost importance that people who run for these positions have faith in the democratic process.
Cairns Regional Council's returning officer Anne Becker made calls to elected councillors yesterday afternoon. There was no formal public or media announcement, and those she couldn't reach were left phone messages. The ECQ now under scrutiny.
Local governments to tell me what went right, but more importantly what went wrong. Some of the allegations are very, very serious.
Statewide postal vote dramas, including on the Tablelands, marred the election. The ECQ sent questions yesterday, did not respond by deadline. Camille Bianchi, Win News. It's been a year-long ordeal for Councillor Snow Bono. Claims over donations.
Normally these things turn over pretty quick, and we would have expected them to come back and either say, look, it's fine, nothing to worry about, or there may be some issues here and there. Then we'd sort of know where we stood.
Timing undoubtedly an issue ahead of local elections.
We really do need to be getting on to the Department of Local Government and Planning, and I think the Minister needs to be coming out and saying when these findings will be handed down.
This has been attack. They've made particular claims about me, supposedly about my past, and all sorts of ridiculous things which were nothing to do with the council process.
The Mayor says councillors are bound within their role to pass on concerns.
We're not talking about witch hunts here, we're talking about the process of a valid investigation.
Councillor Bono initiating action against Councillor Rob Pine, who raised the matter.
Well, I suspect there's a bit of bullying and intimidation involved, but we'll just have to see what happens.
The LNP leader in the Far North today concerned such issues can be misused during election campaigns.
Of course it needs to be investigated, but people who go round and make those sort of allegations in the media are clearly up to mischief.
The Department of Local Government says it's not been an unusually long process. It anticipates an outcome on the claims against Councillor Bono well before council elections on April 28. Snow Bono is not the only Cairns councillor referred to Southern authorities. Alan Blake is also waiting for an outcome. Councillor Blake today saying he is disgusted at what he calls unsubstantiated claims on electoral donations. The investigation into Mr Blake is still underway. Camille Bianchi, Win News. Armadea and Discovery, Queens of the Sea, tonight docked together in Cairns, both set to sail tomorrow to make way for the real Queen, the Queen Mary II.
It's a very important injection to the economy of the region, and the good thing is that it comes at a time when we really need it.
Tourism authorities thrilled, anticipating $15 million to be spent locally by cruise passengers in 2012. Today's ship's bringing almost 2,000 big spenders ashore.
Start to eat a little lobster or something.
Though not all have champagne tastes.
So searching for a restaurant now, and in the evening we want to drink a Guinness.
And while Guinness isn't the definitive tropical experience, there are plenty of those on offer.
Bus to the crocodile park.
Today's cruising pair just the start. 7 ships in coming weeks.
We've got 75 ships coming this year, which is about a 14% increase over 2 years.
The grandest of all, the biggest cruise liner in the world today, set to draw all eyes her way on Sunday. Queen Mary II gliding pre-dawn past the Sunshine Coast before a day in Brisbane. And she'll anchor off our shores this weekend. Too big for Trinity Inlet. To accommodate ship-to-shore activities when the Queen Mary arrives in Cairns on Sunday, the Yorkeys Knob boat ramp will be closed from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Camille Bianchi, Win News. Within the gates of a remote cemetery on top of a hill far from the village, hundreds of names, a proud history.
People absolutely love it. They're very, very proud of the people that we have out here and the stories that they have to tell. And, you know, everyone's got a story.
Amid the stones, one grave, bold for its simplicity. Father Arthur White so humble he wished to be known beyond death not by name, just as a priest. His resting place marked year-round with poppies, testament to his service in honouring his fallen brothers. Local historians map a journey from his English home to life in Western Australia. He spent just 3 months in Herberton before his death, having already established the dawn ceremony in 1930. Though he's earned his place on a cenotaph, Father White wanted no such distinction. Construction is underway on a memorial to him in Herberton in the style of a frontline tent, but it's dedicated to all who've fallen. It's as the community says he'd want it, neighbouring the final post of other diggers.
We've got numerous monuments to some of our World War I soldiers who lie in French and Gallipoli fields.
A special view for the soldiers who can't see the glory of this beautiful afternoon. For those who can see the setting sun, it's the legacy of Father White that every April we wake to greet it too. In remembrance, Camille Bianchi, Win News. How many carers does it take to catch a croc? Well, maybe not this many, but it's a chance these 10 workers won't often get.
We're cleaning out Goliath's pond so he has a nice new clean enclosure for all the guests to see him nice and clear.
Buckets and spades at the ready, all the while doing their best not to wake the 350 kilogram sleeping giant.
Always have to keep an eye out. Complacency's not the thing to be. You've got to be calm and relaxed, but never become complacent.
He can't be blamed for feeling a little restless. Claws bound and eyes covered, not a fun day out. And partly why his cage isn't cleaned more often, although it's a key chance for a croc health check too. It's been around 8 years since Goliath has had a proper checkup, though vets today have given him a clean bill of health. His weight is ideal for an animal in captivity and his skin is in perfect condition.
So we look for the skin, because the skin is likely to be abraded if the floor he's walking on is too rough.
Rewards for hard effort are threefold: happy visitors, a happy croc, and a donation to Port Douglas Wildlife Care. Retrieved from the once murky depths, coins thrown in for luck will contribute to caring for creatures just like Goliath. Goliath tonight happily back in his clean cage. Camille Bianchi, Win News. She ran for council 4 years ago on Val Shear's team. This time around, unionist Janine Aitken isn't running at all, but she's campaign manager for a candidate on Bob Manning's team, fellow unionist Richie Bates.
I've got people from all walks of life supporting me on my campaign. Janine Aitken from the Transport Workers Union is one of those, but I've also got people from the business community as well. She has a complaint in with the CMC, but that's not really a matter for me.
The CMC inquiry was lodged well and truly before I even got involved in this campaign.
The CMC complaint was against the councillor who Richie Bates wants to replace, Alan Blake. With the CMC matter still unresolved, Councillor Blake was declining to comment today, but he's previously called the claims on electoral donations unsubstantiated, determined to continue to represent his division and to be cleared, just as retiring councillor Snow Bono was recently.
Had I known that it would take this long or this was the process, then I would have never actually done it.
Today, the other Division 5 candidate, Talkback radio announcer Mike O'Loughlin, wouldn't comment specifically, but called for clean council campaigns. Meantime, Ms Adkins also posted a Facebook call to unionists, beginning Dear Comrades and listing fellow union members who are council candidates, including Team Unity's Richie Bates.
Maybe that's not the wisest thing to do, but anyway, that's not, to me, it really doesn't mean a lot.
It's about working together in a team and being broadly representative of the community.
So that people want to invest in this town, they feel confident about the town, they feel confident about the council and the leadership.
Determined to make it clear it's Team Unity, not Team Union. Camille Bianchi, Win News. It's still 2 months away, but April is already looking busy. Easter break, the Anzac Day holiday, and now local elections. Council candidates fear they'll lose their audience at a crucial stage.
A lot of people just make up their mind in the last week anyway.
They're now facing an extra 4 weeks of campaigning while the public is in holiday mode.
The people with lots of budgets, they'll just be hitting the TV, the radio, everything else, which isn't me. I don't have enough money.
State election candidates sympathetic to their position.
Absolute outrage. They feel like they've been treated like second-class citizens. They feel that Anna Bligh is doing this purely for political purposes.
Even the member for Kennedy has weighed into the debate.
They believe that they make all the decisions. Who cares what local government thinks? Who cares what the people of Cairns think or the people of Innisfail think?
But the Premier is standing by her decision.
The Local Government Association of Queensland called on me last week to take the needs of this important tier of government into account in my deliberations.
The mayoral candidates in Cairns say they'll move forward regardless.
You've got to be ready to adjust and accept what's dished out.
It's more difficult, energy-wise, to campaign than it is to actually be the mayor.
I don't think I'll run out of steam. I have plenty of energy. I'm all pumped up.
92 days on the campaign trail. Camille Bianchi, Win News. A week since flood devastation, Terry Gilmore again keeping close watch. Overnight, close to 100 millimetres in Cairns CBD. His Westcourt home spared this morning.
Yeah, so more or less worried about watching the water come up.
Babinda recorded close to 300 millimetres overnight, Gordon Vale over 100, 55 millimetres falling within an hour between 8 to 9. Across the day, a severe storm warning for the far north, the Bureau now keeping watch on a potential low, expected to form in the Coral Sea this week.
We do expect one to develop out there, but not to affect the local area in any detrimental way. If anything, the weather should become a little bit better as the winds tend more southerly.
Widespread flooding caused another big slip, yet another closure of the Captain Cook Highway at Buchan's Point, again isolating Port Douglas, just days after landslide debris from last week was cleared. The Gillies Highway also remains closed tonight. It's been shut since last week's downpours. Reprieve on the way.
I think today will be the wettest in Cairns, still a bit around tomorrow, but easing back Wednesday and Thursday.
Heavy rainfall in the past 24 hours hasn't quite caused the level of damage seen in last week's now fatal floodwaters. Police discovered the body of a man believed drowned on the weekend in Camarunga. It's believed the homeless man fell asleep on this bench on Thursday as floodwaters rose. Camille Bianchi, Win News. 12 years ago, these slopes were far from pristine. Since Thala Beach Lodge opened, the natural vegetation has increased fourfold. Its developer Robert Predijon says he wants to be just as sensitive with Taylor Point.
Individually owned conservatories. Now, within these, the individual owners have to sign an agreement in which they will care for the environment.
On a site originally okayed for close to 300 units, he applied to build just 30 homes. With local conservation groups in uproar over the privately owned headland, the former Cairns Regional Council changed Taylor Point zoning and voted down his plan. That vote was upheld in court last month, though not on conservation issues. The judge referred to submissions from group Save Our Slopes, saying he was actually satisfied the proposed development would be subservient to the surrounding landscape. He rejected it purely due to the new town plan. Mr Predijon hopes if his current Supreme Court appeal is successful, the new council will work with him.
We'll meet with Mr Predijon or anybody else for that matter and listen to what they've got to say.
The developer thinks his record speaks for itself. Thala Beach Lodge has been recognised with advanced eco-accreditation by Ecotourism Australia, following in the footsteps of Mr Predijon's first development, Kawara Beach Resort, which is widely recognised as the first ecotourism venture on the northern beaches. Mr Predijon not giving up hope he'll one day receive similar kudos for Taylor Point. Camille Bianchi, Win News.